So this week's topic, and I hope people chime in on this, is forgiveness. I know that it's one of the toughest things to do. It's one of the most powerful things to do, and yet not all of us can do it. And those who can do it sometimes can only do it at certain times, and then at other times they can't. And I want to start off with probably something that some people won't agree with, and that's okay. Because when we're talking about religion, and what we believe, we don't have a copyright on that, and we don't have exact answers on that. We believe what we think we believe, and that's what people should do. They should. But I'm gonna throw something out there that I learned from my parents that I wonder if would resonate with other people. And it's a story of the prodigal son. And the story of the prodigal son, who people who don't know that story, people who are maybe not Christian or just haven't heard that story, is when there was a man who had a huge amount of money, and he had two sons, and he, before he died, he gave his sons a lot of their inheritance. Before he died, he decided to do it ahead of time. And one son got all the money and stayed with him and took care of him and did all the chores with him. And the other son took it and took out women and drank and spent the money on things that were really not, well, I wouldn't say not appropriate, but were wasteful, and things that were just not of value much. I mean, just prostitutes and alcohol again and things like that. So finally, he ran out of money, which inevitably that happens if you do stupid things with money, which everybody knows that. I mean, we've all heard of people who do crazy things with money and then wind up wondering, how did I lose this? You know, you wonder how somebody who made $100 million becomes a pauper. Well, mistakes, right? So he made a lot of mistakes, and by the end of the time that he had his lost all his money, he went to a pig farmer, and or a farmer, I guess, and there was he was asked to feed the pig slop, and that was his job, to try to make a little bit of money to get back on his feet again. And he was pouring the slop for the pigs. And in the story, it talks about how he was jealous of even the pigs that they were getting the slop. He was so hungry that couldn't afford to feed himself, and he just yearned for even a little bit of the slop that the pigs were getting. So he was desperate. I mean, this is a man who wanted to eat essentially garbage just to stay alive, residual food, leftover food that was thrown away for pigs. And he finally got up enough courage to walk back to his father's house. And here's where the story, a lot of people end the story. They say the moral of the story is that you could always go back home, and that the father will forgive you if you apologize. If you come back and you're sorry, the father will forgive you. And I don't think, and from what I've learned from very spiritual people, is that really isn't the moral of the story. The moral of the story is this: the father ran to the child, to the kid who had given up, blown away all that money. Now, think about it. That father, as he saw his son walking back to the house, how did he know that he was there to apologize for what he did? How did he know that he wasn't there to ask for more money? Now, he did apologize to the father, and the father did forgive him. And his father threw him a party and said, "My son was dead, and now he's alive." And that is what people take away from the story, that if you are remorseful, then you are forgiven by God, or whatever you want to believe in, whatever you call the higher power. And I don't see that story that way at all. I see that story as, it doesn't matter if you're sorry or